Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. Yes, you do have a friend in the media. That is myself. Any questions that you may have about this Carolina Panthers football team, let me know. If I don't know the answer, I'll be sure to get the answers for you. I also had a request come through. Again, JJ Jansen is a guy that I'm looking to speak with this week, one-on-one interview. So you had a question come over on Twitter about something to ask JJ. So if any of you guys think of that in terms of something you'd like for me to ask Mr. JJ Jansen, hey, let me know. Leave it in the comments. As long as I get it, typically I do the interviews on Thursday. So as long as I get it Wednesday by 5, you can have strong consideration for your question to be added. Also, look at this. Being a Panthers fan is not for the weak. Well, CB, hopefully I can help you be a Panthers fan by bringing some context to how you should be feeling, what you should be thinking, and how you should handle things. You know, one thing that I like to think about is I love football, but it's also entertainment, right? It's not real life. So, but it's fun. And you don't want something that's entertainment. It's supposed to be fun to like stress you out. So if I can help give people out there some more perspective, so like I ain't saying I don't want you to be a diehard, but just so you can not stress out about your entertainment, something that's supposed to be your escape, then hopefully I can help some people do that. But we'll get into the show tonight. Again, this show is called Let's Talk About It because it's 100% dedicated towards the questions that you all have and having some conversation with me about it. There's a link that's also in the description. And you know what? I'll put that link out there right now. I'm going to put it in the comments for you guys to just click on it and join me live. So this way to go out to everywhere. Excuse me. Let's see if I can pin that out there. So boom, I just put that out there. So hopefully everybody can see that link, and whether you're on a cell phone, a computer, whatever, anything that's connected to the internet has a camera on it, you can use it and talk to me. So until I get anybody that calls in, I will certainly take any questions and comments that you guys will leave in the comments section. But in terms of being a Panthers fan, not for the week, you know, that game yesterday, it got bad, and you know, it's a lot of different things that you could look at yesterday and be like, good grief. By the way, you guys can't hear. I'm still in Tampa, so I'm still in my hotel room. You can't hear the air conditioner, can you? If you can't, let me know, and I'll make some adjustments and turn it off. But some things that I think about when watching that game yesterday is kind of like, dang. And that's right now. Like yesterday, we just saw Baker Mayfield throw a career high 5 touchdowns. And this is a guy that, you know, I had an exchange with when he was here in Charlotte about Baker. When are you going to do something to stop all these batted balls coming down? I mean, like, geez, it's happening way too often, right? And he kind of snapped back at me. But now Baker Mayfield is leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to what looks like it's going to be a 4th straight NFC South title, and he's having a career year doing it, just looking like, you know, a very capable franchise quarterback. And then you see, and I didn't see all the highlights because, of course, I got to do all my Panthers coverage first. Hold on. Thomas, by the way, I see you there. I think I got to sneeze, so hold on. I have run into something that is making me sneeze today. So I have been sneezing all of a sudden. But you see Baker Mayfield throw his 5 touchdowns, and then Sam Darnold. I don't know the details because, again, I was glued into all the Panther stuff, but he did something awesome yesterday where he's getting champagne toasted and put on people's shoulders and they're talking about how much he's going to get paid. It's like, wow, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield had pit stops here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and now they're living their best life not in Charlotte, North Carolina. But nevertheless, CB, good to hear from you. What's up, Knucklehead K? Where are you at these days? You hadn't told me, and you haven't. Well, I can't get on you too much. I was about to get on Knucklehead K for not coming onto the show recently, but I have seen her, man, at least 3 or 4 times this season, which has been cool. But this show's all about you guys coming in. You guys don't worry about the AC. If our defense was as good as yours sound, we'd be right now. Yeah, again, tell me if you guys can hear that AC, and I'll definitely turn it off. I turned it off yesterday. I'm getting ready to put on my headphones so I can hear my guy Thomas Frisbee, my caller. I need to be able to give you some kind of award, Thomas, for being a lawyer caller. Unfortunately, I don't have a huge budget to be able to do anything spectacular for you, but if I could, I would. And let's go ahead and let's see. Thomas, hold on. I got one more thing to do. And booyah. Clock had, well, greetings.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm spending an extra day down here in Tampa, Florida, so
Hmm.
trying to get my
I
mind
mean,
right.
send some of that warmth up to Ohio because we're supposed to be in the teens and 20s, after New Year's with snow. So yeah, just send some of that up here. That'd be great.
Hey, I'm bottling up tonight, sending it to you.
Good because we need it. I mean, it was like 60, I think, on Saturday, and of course, like being in the Midwest, you live in Ohio when you have your roof open, your SUV because it feels like spring. So But no, when you were talking about how lowly the Panthers are, it made me come up with something to where I kind of remember back in the day when Arizona Cardinals were god awful, and that was like a destination to where you didn't want to go because like if you wanted your career to die, you went to Arizona, or if you went to Arizona, then you go to somewhere else differently. It was kind of like a um, center point to get your career going. And it's kind of like how Carolina is with how Sam Darnold and Mayfield came to Carolina, thought they were going to do something. They didn't, unfortunately. The organization failed them, and now they're doing great with with new circumstances. So it just made me think about how Arizona used to be that point to where you didn't want to go there, and if you did, you wanted to get out of there, and you flourished elsewhere. But that game yesterday, I get it. Second to last game, you have nothing to play for. I mean, except for pride, but the injuries. But that was just bad football all the way around. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, honestly, when we think back when we had Phil Snow as the DC, those were now that seems like years ago. And his defenses were as atrocious compared to what we've had. And I get it, injuries, take a toll. But if you're supposed to be a very outstanding DC, then you're supposed to your schemes are supposed to try to overcome it.
Hmm.
But my only thing is, it's like he does decent with a really great all star staff, I mean players, but it would be I'm like torn. It's like, do I want to see him back for another year with a healthy and possibly upgrades, or just rip the band aid off and let Dave find his own person? So that's kind of like where I'm struggling. But I mean, if they have another stinker against Atlanta who is still playing for something and they get embarrassed with Penix as quarterback, they got to make changes. That, I mean, that and my other thing is what concerns me about Bryce. My one knock, but it doesn't help that the receivers are consistent. Is it's like 15 for 28. You're not going to win a lot of football games if you're always going 15 for 28. So I just want to see a little more consistency, but it doesn't help when Leggett and other people just keep literally, no pun intended, drop the ball.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was painful to watch. I mean, when Thielen caught that first touchdown, I'm like, okay, here we go. No, no, no. And I'm honestly, like I said, I'm not upset. It's just what it is now. But can't be mad at Panthers football if you've been a fan for a long time. Can't be mad. It's like if you're a Browns or Lions fan.
Thanks so much, Thomas. I'm gonna continue to get to these calls, man.
You're welcome. Have a good night, Chris.
All right, you as well.
Bye bye.
See ya. So next up is Knucklehead K, and then I also have Jay or Ja. I don't know if I'm saying it incorrectly. He'll get me right on that. But let me quickly comment on some things there that Thomas talked about. And I'm trying to give you guys each, I say guys is a habit, you all each 2 minutes of time, and then we'll keep on rolling through it. In terms of Ivero and his future, there's certainly we have some people that been wanting the guy fired, and I've been a little bit patient with him, saying that he has not the best group of guys that are out there that he's having to play with each week. But I will say this: you should be able to be a good coach, not regardless, but you should have traits of good coaching regardless of who your personnel is. Because yes, that's part of what you do of being a good coach. Is you're not only good when you have good players, but you're good when you don't have the best players and you work things out to each one of their strengths to still give you the best chance to win. Now that might not mean you're still going to be as good as you would be if you had the great players, but I definitely think there's something to be said about the fact that not only is it that we give up a lot of points or a lot of yards, more specifically, a lot of yards rushing each and every week and a decent amount of pass yards too, but it's the fact that it's every single week it's at the highest level. It's at a really, really high level. This season we're about to cross over giving up 500 points. So that's really bad. And then one other thing they talked about, because I wanted to make sure I get to Knucklehead K, was oh man, Thomas, I'm forgetting the one other thing that you talked about. You talked about Ivera. Oh, you talked about Bryce. I was good with Bryce yesterday. He had a lot of situations that he was put in that the chips were stacked against him. You know, quite a few times, all right, it's third and long. What are you gonna do? Well, you got Josh Neisman in there, and for Taylor Moton, you got rookie wide receivers except for Adam Thielen. Send everybody, and they did that and made Bryce have to move around quite a bit yesterday. And you also had Xavier Leggett that was 5 of 10 on his catches, so that will affect some things. So yeah, we're gonna keep on moving along because we got Knucklehead Kid that's been patiently waiting. I see her bouncing. She bounced. She on the road. What's going on? Look at y'all. See her head
What's
just going
going
like
on?
that. She on a bouncy road. What road you on tonight,
Yeah, I'm in Louisiana on I-20.
man?
One of the worst roads ever. It's the highway. I don't know what it is. I'm in Monroe right now, but Shreveport ain't any better.
They. Oh yeah. That's when the roads go to like that. What is it, like that brownish, not like that burgundy-ish color asphalt or something like that?
Yeah, well, no, they quote unquote repaved it or tried to do something to it because they didn't do a very good job.
They don't have
Um,
blacktop though, right?
Yeah, it's like that ashy gray, it's black top, but it's not really like black. You know how when you put brand new and it be that black?
Yeah,
It's not that.
yeah.
It's something.
So just so
But
all the viewers out there know, like Knucklehead K and I talk quite a bit, and she actually drives through some areas that I was growing up in. So I kind of reminisce with her for a second before we get into the show. So that's what that's about. Y'all wonder why we're talking about asphalt, but what you got, Knucklehead? I
yeah, and
appreciate you
look,
tuning
I'm out
in.
here in Louisiana on my way down. And man, I'm trying to find the bright spots of yesterday. It's hard.
It's over.
Outside
That's
of like
yesterday
you
is
said,
over. That's the
it,
bright
it,
spot. I'm sorry. I'm, I'm taking
that's
up your
true.
2 minutes.
That's very true. But man, the best player on our defense yesterday to me was a rookie. Once again, number 41. I don't know if it's Wyndham, well, I don't know how you say his last name,
Winman.
but I think he's an undrafted. Yeah, I think he's a undrafted free agent as well. And that was the best part of the entire defense to me, in my personal experience. I can't really beat up the offense. For so long, everybody thought Bryce was the problem, and now it's like it's done went from the offense and the defense has gotten worse. I don't. It's painful to watch.
Now you know one thing that I think may be leading to our rookie linebackers having such good stats when they come in there, and even like somebody in the secondary, is that up front they can't stop the rush. And so what you
Well, yeah,
have
that's
happening
true.
is you got a rookie that's excited to be in there, and he got all this energy. So he's running around making this tackle, making that tackle that he really should be making all of these tackles because some of your interior linemen should be making the tackle. But they're having to
Yeah.
do so much because they're getting a lot of opportunities from not being able to stop the rush.
I mean, and then the one time that we did actually get to Baker was I think that was Ashawn Robinson. They throw a flag on him. I don't even think that was a Like he really literally tripped. Or at least I feel when I watched all 22, it seemed to me as though he tripped, and literally the next person to catch him was Baker. Unfortunately, it, we just can't get any help. You know, I don't know. I don't think Evero is the solution to the defense next year though. I know that much.
What's your biggest gripe about Evero? I just talked about the fact that I feel like I have been giving him a lot of grace, but I would go to say if you're a good coach, you still should be able to do a little bit better than what you're doing. What's your biggest criticism on Evero?
I don't know if it can't be the scheme because 3-4 works in plenty of other places. You know, different teams run different renditions of it, so it can't be the scheme. The only thing it can be is coaching. So I don't know if it's him or if it's the people that are under him, like the actual
Position coaches.
position coaches. I have no idea what the solution is, but it's something that he can't get corrected, I'm assuming, because it's gotten, ever since he's gotten here, it's gotten worse and worse every year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he's ruined his shot at being a head coach, at least right now.
Well, hey, Knucklehead, we at the time. Anything else you want to say before you get out of here?
Nope, everybody have a happy new year. I'll be out here delivering y'all mail.
That's what I'm talking about. Essential workers. Thank you so much for calling in. Good to see
No
you.
problem. Have a good one.
All right,
Same.
take care.
You
All right, so we got two people waiting. I appreciate you guys' patience with waiting. Good show tonight. Good show tonight. You guys are calling in. I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to try to leave everybody to 2 minutes. I'm going to do a better job at not interacting with you so you can have your full 2 minutes. And then I'll have my 1 minute of rebuttals. But, yeah, defense, bad. Let's go ahead and go to – I'm going to let him say his name because I don't want to say it wrong no more. What's going on, sir?
What's up, Chris, man? Yes, Ja.
Ja,
I
there we
just put
go.
that big. But yeah, man. Great work over the years, man. Been a pleasure to see your growth, man.
Thank you very
But
much, sir.
yes, sir, yes, sir. But I just feel like people should. Um, I think we're doing a lot of overreacting. I think the defense. I think what needs to happen is the defense needs to. We need to get another coach, fire the coach. But out of Bryce, I done seen all I needed to see out of Bryce. He's been showing
Now,
so
when you
many
say coach,
flashes.
I'm assuming you talk about the defensive coordinator, Vero.
Yeah,
Okay.
Avera. Yeah, yeah. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Um, but as far as like our guy, our quarterback, I think we solid at that. Put the pieces around him to go ahead and take him to the next level. I think if we fix the defense, I think we're in the playoffs next year. Um, and as far as XL, I feel like people should have a little bit of patience with him. I mean, he's a rookie, um, so I feel like he needs a little bit more grace. Um, I feel like he just need to go into the off season, work on his hands, work on his um. Well, his route running was supposed to be an issue with him, but he's always open. If you look at the miscues, look at the drops, this man is always 2, 3 steps ahead of a cornerback. So I feel like if he goes in, works on his hands, he'll be just fine. But I just
Okay.
feel like we're doing a lot of acting off of this loss.
Okay. So you in a good temperament. So for you, how do you feel about this team heading into 2025?
I think we're gonna run it up.
Okay. You
If we
got
fix,
you got a win
if,
total you want to put on there? Guesstimate?
we fix our defense, I think we're gonna win. I would say 10 wins, 10 games
Okay.
at the max.
I think you broke out, or maybe I hit a button. What was the last part you said? You think 10 wins?
Yeah, I think 10 wins at a minimum. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, man, I'm good. Appreciate you.
Hey, definitely appreciate the kudos. Appreciate you tuning in for so many years. Hopefully, we can continue to have you on board. You can see some more growth from us. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. All right, Tyler, you are going to be next up. Let me comment on Josh's call there. Evero, again, I feel like it's 50-50 with him in terms of will he come back or will he not come back. Um, he certainly is part of a team that has set a lot of franchise records that are very negative. With yesterday, we had man, they had I think nearly 600 yards of total offense. They had a record amount of yardage by halftime. I think it was a little over 300 or so. We I think are about at 500. I'm sorry, 496 points. Uh, About to join a few ball clubs that have had over 500 points scored on them in the NFL. And I think it may be 4 games over 200 yards rushing. Until we had DJ Wanham on the team, we were the absolute atrocity in getting sacks. So it's a lot of bad stuff that's there. So certainly, I think he's a candidate for not being here in the future. And then on the other side with Xavier Leggett, um, I know for me, I'm giving him grace. I'm still on his side. I still believe, like, yeah, he's only a rookie, but I certainly feel like I got to tell it how it is. And man, that play yesterday by Xavier Leggett was just questionable, man. It's just like the way he was going after balls wasn't as aggressive. But I'm great. I'm giving him grace in that I feel like he still can develop. It's not like he's been doing this for 3 years. I'm like, no, he is what he is. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him anymore. So, and in terms of the future, I think overall, like maybe the overreaction is people are forgetting that we still have a lot of newness and we still have so much better than we had last year, right? We only had 2 wins last year and ended the season on 2 shutouts in a row. Completely an atrocity. We already have 4 wins this year, twice as many as last year. And even though yesterday was terrible, we still put up 14 points, which is something we couldn't even do at all last year. And then you got Bryce Young, where you can criticize his play, but he's still playing like a pro quarterback, somebody that can lead your franchise. So those are some positive things for sure. Let me go ahead and get to Tyler, who's been patiently waiting. Tyler, I forgot about you and your awesome setup, man. I got to get that going on.
You've got a pretty great game day setup, so I mean, you're already on the right track. You're already on the right track.
Well, the setting helps that one out a little bit.
It does, but it's a great setup. That's every time I look at it, I'm still amazed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. How's it going?
It's good. As good as you can be on a Monday after Sunday's atrocities. But overall, this season, has given us hope. I think a lot of us said we wanted to look competent this year, and I think we've done that in certain games. And then other games we've looked the inverse of that. But yeah, um, I think my big thing, kind of looking into the game, everybody's been on Ajero Avero pretty hard, which is fair. And we've looked across the umbrella, but the one area I think we need to look at a little bit is um, Dave and how we're calling plays. He says we're committed to the run. We're committed to the run. I feel like in the first 15 plays, those scripted plays, we're really good at committing to the run. Um, but after we get out of those initial 15 plays, I really start to question, how often I can't tell you how many games that we lose where we'll come in, it's 2nd and 1 and we're in empty. We're like, hey, let's get a first down that's killing us, and we'll get into another 3rd and 1 and we'll try it. So I feel like we run when they expect it
Hmm.
a little too much. And I understand that, being committed to the run doesn't mean that we're 50-50 across the ball. But when I watch games, when I'm sitting in Bank of America Stadium and we're in games, it's when our offense is keeping the ball longer. We know we don't have a good defense. So the best thing that we can do is keep the ball longer in our hands and score at the end. We have 8-minute possessions that lead into scores. We tend to do better and keep our defense off the field and keep us from bleeding points. And I feel like Dave over this season, we've abandoned the run when it's been the one thing that keeps us going. And I think it's the one area that, I expect a little bit more growth for Dave in next season. And then I'll say the other side is I think we're missing Chris Tabor. We had Chris Tabor in a good special teams. And I feel like, our special teams this year has kind of cost us at bad moments. I call them icky moments, getting, the worst penalties at the worst time. I feel like Icky is great at doing that. When we can't have a false start or we can't have something that we'll have icky moments. And I feel like our special teams has done that a lot this year. But those are my 2 big points. I think Bryce is on pace. I think we're going to have a good team next year. I just like to see the rookiness out of Dave, get out of the way as a head coach and like let's have a good plan on how we're attacking the ground because we have a good a good line and good backfield.
Now, because I don't have anybody behind him, I'm gonna give you an extra minute here. So, Dave and this play calling, that's kind of what I was referring to. That we still have some newness with things. We still have Dave Canales in his first year ever as a head coach, so he's going to have to evolve as well. And I think you're right on about the play calling and how when things are scripted, it goes well, and then once he gets away from out of that script, it kind of goes all over the place. And he's talked about that at times, like giving Bryce certain opportunities to be able to succeed or to be able to throw the ball downfield and not having them in opportunities where everybody gets the defense that is knows, okay, now it's third and long because I let him take a shot on second and 7, and now it's third and
Hmm.
7. So what are you going to do, especially when now we got I forget who the backup was, Josh over there in place of Taylor, and now you got Bryce just trying to dutch and dodge and run around.
Yeah,
And it seems like to me, and I don't go into the locker rooms all the time because when I'm trying to do the live show, I can't be in two places at once. But what I
yeah.
wanted to ask Dave was, does he struggle with the fact that when he gets behind, and this could be a product of what we're talking about being a first year coach, when he gets behind, that he's less likely to go into that run style of offense? Because that's what happened yesterday. They got behind, they
Hmm.
scored, and I think he wants to get a little bit of a lead, even if it's a 3-point lead, and then he feels much more comfortable calling those runs, even if the first one doesn't go for much, the second one doesn't go for much, to still kind of get that balance. Because yeah, yesterday all that throwing took us to an extremely lopsided 41 minutes to about 19 minutes time of possession. I mean,
And,
it's like high
and
school football 101. If you're playing against a team that you know is going to rock you, just try to keep the ball so the score is not ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think when we're not running the ball, right, we're not controlling the clock at all, and that's a way to help prevent the bleeding. And we feel like Bryce does better in the play action. He has shown that he can make every throw on the field this year, right? He's had the deep ball. We see a lot more deep ball action, and the plays that are dialed up on those second and ones where we throw up, they generally are. There's an open person. It's XL missing a catch or it's something off, but giving our offense a chance to get their stride under, I think is really crucial. And I think Dave Canales' safety is going to the pass game. Once we've got a lead, like you said, we can run the ball where it's a little bit inverse. We should be running the ball. Mike Boone ran the ball I think twice yesterday, and he averaged 5 yards plus a carry. you
Yep.
know our run game is there. So Bryce does really good out of the play action right now, and it sets up a lot. So, us getting 5 yards a carry, even if we're down 3 score, leads to good setup. And I feel like, every time we come out and empty, I get scared. We'll call it like, flashbacks from last season. When we come
Yeah.
out and empty, I just don't feel like we have the receiver set for that right now with, us lacking a true number one. But yeah, I think we've got a lot of good positive things. Everybody's had a chance to grow this year, so has Dave. So next year, be a little bit harsher on the, second and one, and we're throwing a Hail Mary on our 20-yard line.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, can you think of a game that we started out with? I know we did last week, so I was going to touch on that. The stats from last week, we ended up throwing the ball 26 times, but we threw it 36 times. But we came out in that game with a 7-0 lead, and again, I think that gave Dave a lot of comfort and trust in his play calling. I don't know if there's quickly another game I could look at where we came out with the
Yeah,
lead because it doesn't happen often.
Arizona, the Raiders, those games. When we score first, if you look the stats over the last 3 years, if Carolina scores on their opening drive, there is a 72% chance that we're competitive in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
like within the game, us scoring first and getting there. So yeah, like Arizona, the Raiders, us getting out to opening kind of leads in those games, allowed us to start getting to the run a little bit more, even though the Raiders game was at Andy Dalton. But I feel like Arizona was that way last week. I want to throw one thing on there from Panther Nation here. I was in Bank of America, last week. You can tell a difference in that stadium. We were cheering. There was a lot of black and blue, processed blue in there. Understanding we're playing the traveling Arizona Cardinals, but last week felt different for the first
Yeah.
time in years. That we were cheering. We were in it all 4 quarters. Yeah, small to plug there. Felt great, last week being in VOA and it feeling like, a real home game, not a letdown.
Well, I'm glad you could bring that because I can't always get the vibe of what's going on being in the press box. And I know I did hear, I think on social media, people saying Chuba, the chance in the
Yeah,
concourse. So I'm glad you could bring that perspective.
yeah, absolutely. Well,
Hey,
hey, Chris, I appreciate letting me get on here. It was great. I love watching what you're doing, and love supporting it.
hey, thank you so much, Tyler. You have a good evening and good holidays.
You too.
All righty, all righty. So yeah, we did really good with the calls tonight. I appreciate it. I love it. I hope that you guys and girls continue to call in and talk to us. And as you can see, it's an unscripted show. Uh, just whatever you guys want to talk about, because there's plenty of shows that just go blah 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 blah. But I like to interact with you guys. I like to meet you guys. And yeah, yesterday I met someone on the field that traveled to the game, say, hey, I watch the show. So those moments are pretty cool for me. And anytime that you guys see me, please let me know. Say hello. If there's a chance. I will be in Atlanta. And by the way, let me give myself a little pat on the back here. I am super excited about next week because it will be the first season in Charlotte Vibe history, and we've been doing this about 15 years, that I have traveled and attended every single game, from the first preseason game to what will be the last game in Atlanta. And I think you guys appreciate it and enjoy the content, enjoy the growth. So hopefully we can continue to rally together, and it'll be something that's a normal thing that we make it to every single game. So also my photographer, Patrick Snyder, he's did it last year, but both of us did it this year and make it to every single game. And plug for looking at our photos. We're going to be putting some more of those up tonight on Twitter and Instagram. I know you guys may not be eager to see them because they are photos which show that we were being overpowered, but nevertheless, we got to show you the game action. So I am going to touch on some more of the comments that have come through and see what you guys got here. But what about Tyler's setup, though, man? That dude got a good setup at the house. Let's see. Let's see. We need a defensive end and go to a 4-3. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I don't know. This was I was about to read this comment here from Prime Time. Says we need a defensive end and go to 4-3. We need a lot on defense. We need a lot on defense. But I just go to say at the high level, I feel good about things are going to continue to get better. I don't know what's going to happen this offseason. I'm going to track it all, going to report on it all. But I feel like Dave Canales is not afraid to do the things that he needs to do to keep this team in a position. I think someone on Twitter yesterday said, hey, I like a coach who's not afraid to sit your first round, number one overall pick quarterback, start a backup quarterback, and then bring him back, and, things are where they are. So he seems like he's a coach that's he's about winning and doing what it takes to win and building relationships with guys and tell them the truth and do what they got to do to make it. So appreciate the comment, Prime Time. Jerry says Xavier Leggett has oven mitts for hands. He's looking like a wasted first at the moment. So I don't feel like he's a waste because he's just a rookie, and he has shown signs of promise. And it just seems like it's compounded mostly in this later part of the season. And I'll be honest with you guys, here's something to think about for that. And I'm not about making excuses for guys. I just my thing is, as a journalist, just trying to give you all different perspectives to look at things and evaluate and still have your own opinion afterwards. But keep in mind, a lot of rookies hit what's called a rookie wall, right? They're used to playing 10, 12, maybe 13 games. They're not used to playing as much ball as they have been playing since OTA started back in May, right? And this is now the NFL is not even a 17-week season anymore. It's now 18 weeks. Coming from that to college, that's an adjustment for some guys. And Xavier Leggett said recently about he kind of got away from taking care of his body as good as he knows that he needs to. And I won't say that that's laziness. It just could be like he's not used to it. He's not used to having to sustain such a high level of my diet, my sleep, and whatever things may go into his routine to make him ready. So he could also be getting mentally a little worn with the rookie wall. it affects rookies in various ways. So I say that to say, no, I'm not saying he's a wasted first round pick because I'm taking all that into consideration. I say, whoa, rookie wall, learning mistakes, being a rookie, having a good first part of the season. I'm okay with it. Uh, I wouldn't panic until I just wouldn't panic right now. I would be happy that we got Xavier Leggett, continue to enjoy his accent and all the funny things that he talks about, but I feel okay about his future. What's up, Leonard Kowalski? Appreciate you tuning in and joining us. Yeah, Xavier needs to work on elevating to the. He needs to work on quite a few things, man. He needs to work on quite a few things. Sorry, playing with the graphics. We doubled our win total and won games by scoring actual touchdowns. So it's a big improvement. Yeah, we did. So we went from 2 to 4. So next year we get to 8. I think Job mentioned earlier 10. I think 10's, man, I need to see like some actual what players did we draft, what changes did we make before I could go to 10. But I do feel confidence in Dan Morgan and Dave Canales that they will take this 4 and make it 8 wins next season with, making the necessary changes that they need to make in order to make this team competitive. Chuck B, we got a member. What's going on, Chuck B? Appreciate you. What's going on? And let me get to my best friend right here with the super chat. She going to make sure. Sorry, I don't have all my sound effects on this computer yet, but let me make sure I give some respect, put some respect on her name, Knucklehead K, who's out there making sure that we get our mail as well. But she says she's giving us 2 super chats tonight. One of them being, I hope this helps fans realize how important Chuba is to our offense. Our running back room is depleted. Good point. Good point. We didn't have our full staff yesterday. We don't have Miles Sanders, Jonathan Brooks, or Chuba Hubbard. Today, Coach talked about the possibilities of Miles Sanders coming back. I'm not for it. I'm really not for it. Miles Sanders has been cleared to basically be able to play, to return, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I mean, maybe if he wants to play pretty bad, then we can use him coming out the backfield and blocking and stuff like that. But I wouldn't get excited about Miles Sanders coming back. But appreciate you, Knucklehead K. And then she had one more comment. Did you try to coon? So Xavier Leggett brought some raccoon, he calls it coon, to the locker room, and he let some reporters try it. I was not fortunate enough to try the raccoon, so I cannot give you guys a report on that. Would I have tasted it? Maybe if we was like in a house setting, but I don't know if I would have just like in the locker room. Even he had it in the container and everything, so it wasn't like it was just out there in the open and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't be game for tasting too many things for the first time in the NFL locker room. That's just me. Appreciate the super chats very much and all the support and love you guys are giving me. It is a lot doing what we do, and man, but you guys give me faith and confidence that this thing will continue to grow, and a lot of you guys will get to say, hey, man, I remember when you was such and such, and now you guys got this big show and things going on, and I'm going to keep trying. I feel like we can get there, especially with a lot of positive words that we get. Hey, everybody, loving the call-ins tonight. Keep pounding. True fans, stick around through the good and the bad and the not-so-good. 2025, here we come. Appreciate you, Queens Yarn Boutique. You right. You right. Tell them, girl. Tell them. Tell them about them true fans. We got them. Stephen Bailey talking about the defense needs some major upgrades. Bryce is improving. His numbers are still on par with Cooper Rush, a backup. Panthers need to get ambitious. Stephen, did you have more to say about the Bryce part? I give talk about the defense, but you said as much as Bryce is improving, and then you said his numbers are on par with Cooper Rush. So is that you saying that you feel like we also need to explore other options with Bryce? I feel good about Bryce at this point. I feel really good about Bryce. His to me, it was just about giving him a chance, and I didn't know what all was not giving him a chance last year, but I could certainly see that play calling, the improved line, uh, things they're giving Bryce a chance to succeed. Excuse me. I'm also liking that I'm seeing more of, guys don't have to be a certain personality, but I like that I'm seeing more of his leadership and more of his tenacity come through when he's playing football. And I tell you, for me, honestly, the biggest thing that I'm happy about is last year I just could not figure out why we drafted a guy that had appeared to not be able to throw a deep ball. And I'm like, I know you guys saying that he can. There's tape that says he can, but since he's been in the NFL, and this is me last year, I'm like, I'm not seeing Bryce Young look anything capable of being a starting quarterback or a franchise quarterback. So at this point, I would say, yeah, Bryce. He got taken off his game last year. He got into a funk that the benching allowed him to get out of, and now I can see this guy throwing the ball. So all the things that I see and heard about his accuracy, his intelligence, his ability to anticipate, like I see all those things. I feel like he could be fine, and we just got to get other things around him to develop. So appreciate the question. I mean the comment, Mr. Bailey. Appreciate it very much. Two growls, one roar in the building. What's going on? Nice to see everybody coming into the show tonight. I think that's great. And then we got our normal spam that's coming in here, so we'll knock that spam out. Dave helped at Tampa Bay yesterday, so looks like we got through it all. Tomorrow, what's today? Today's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so typically there's not going to be a show on Tuesday. I don't think they're going to be off for New Year's. I don't think they treat that the same as Christmas. So basically, expect a down day tomorrow. I'll be traveling back to Charlotte, so wish me some safe travels. And then things will resume on Wednesday. On Thursday is when I plan to do my interview with J.J. Jansen. Now, that's not 100% confirmed, but I feel good enough about it where I can let you guys know. So any questions that you all may have for J.J. Jansen, and we're going to talk about everything. So whether it's a personal question, a football question, whatever your questions may be for J.J., let me know. And, I'm going to continue to hold it down as the outlet that gives you the absolute most one-on-one interviews with Carolina Panther players. I think right now I got to be approaching 100 players that I have sat down with one-on-one. And I can assure you there's not an independent media anywhere close to that number. But I'm doing it for you guys, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. That's all for today. Thank you so much. We'll see you shortly. And one more thing before I get out of here. I've been thinking about doing something big for that last game in Atlanta. I don't know what it could be. I just want to make sure I'm giving to you guys that have been so supportive of the channel. And I'm going to have a guest on the show, another journalist on that show. But, I thought about doing maybe a longer show, but I don't know. It's like if I did a longer show, it'd have to be still something that you guys want. And I don't know. So if you have any ideas for that last show to make it big and grand, I'm going to tell you now, I cannot have players on the show on game days. So that won't happen, and that cannot happen. But if you have some ideas, please let me know. And I know you guys are asking about the Cart Talk T-shirts. So I've already gotten that one for J.J. Jansen. So I would definitely put that into the mix, and maybe even see if I could get one. Right? Like, could I get one, a free one? Nevertheless, thank you guys. Chris Jenkins reporting live from Tampa Bay. Talk to you later.